Indonesia tidak banyak dikenal di seluruh dunia. Wah,
Why we should care is
Okay.
because the West, so-called, is imploding.
sedang meledak. Ini apa guys? Peneliti Eropah sampai heran Indonesia dianggap miskin, tapi jadi negara paling bahagia di dunia. Peringkat kedua negara paling bahagia di dunia. 76 negara boleh ini menyatakan sudah keliling banyak negara. 76 guys. Tapi satu-satunya Indonesia yang buatkan boleh ini merasa banyak orang datang ke Indonesia dengan satu bayangan ramai, keras dan penuh tekanan. Tapi saat mereka benar-benar melihat langsung kehidupan di sini, reaksinya justru berbeda. Bukan kaget kerana kemewahan, tapi kerana ketenangan yang tidak pernah mereka sangka ada. Yuk, kita semak video ini.
So why is Indonesia so little known internationally, and why should we care? Well, I'll tell you one reason
Indonesia tidak banyak dikenal di seluruh dunia. Wah,
why we should care is
Okay.
because the West, so-called, is imploding.
sedang meledak.
It is crumbling as we speak, and the smart money, the smart people, really, the smart people who control the smart money, and they're going to wake up and they're going to leave. The question is, where are they going to go? So for me as a Canadian, when I lived there, I barely knew what Indonesia was.
Tidak
I
tahu.
think I might have heard of Bali. Bali, what is that? A sport? You know, I might have heard the word, but I didn't know what it was, let alone Indonesia or what it was all about. Nothing. This is a serious issue.
Okay.
Because Indonesia doesn't have a bad name internationally, or even a good name. It has no name. No name. Unknown. Silent. And that's the opportunity, because now, as Indonesians, we can set up in the minds of others from other countries what our country represents. We can tell them, because they don't have a preconceived notion. They don't even know who we are or where Indonesia is on a map. Okay. So the kind of foreigners that we want are the smart ones, the ones who can help advance the economy and not bring in all this cultural nonsense. These are the kind of people who respect Indonesian values.
Yeah,
Okay. Even though they're smart. Okay. So they're clever and respectful. And we don't want a lot of them. We don't want 10 million of them or something, but a few thousand, that can make a difference. So, I mean, why not make Indonesia look great to these people? You know, stop them from going to Thailand and Vietnam and Singapore, Malaysia, or wherever else they go, and invite them to come here, or at least have a closer look. Make it friendlier for the smartest, most respectful foreigners. Not a lot of them, but just enough to make a big difference. And I know at our own company here at Wondermind, I mean, we can hire just one native speaking teacher and it can make a big difference. Or it could be an oil exploration company. It can hire just the right geologist and that can make a big difference. So we don't need a lot of foreigners to make a huge difference, but I think we want the best and the brightest to at least give Indonesia some more thought. What do you think? How can we do it?
Baik.
Countries. Yet somehow it is.
Ini apa guys? Peneliti Eropah sampai heran Indonesia dianggap miskin, tapi jadi negara paling bahagia di dunia. Peringkat kedua negara paling bahagia di dunia.
But how does that make sense? If Indonesia is truly one of the happiest places, then surely the data would reflect that, right? Because when I was researching about happiness for another video, I stumbled upon an image that ranks Indonesia as the second happiest country in the world. This one
Bahagia.
image caught me off guard instantly, not because Indonesia doesn't seem like a happy place, but rather because I'd never seen it ranked that high before. So I checked another website that's far more widely used and more familiar to me. And here, Indonesia was ranked 80th in the same year, practically buried under countries that, at least on paper, are supposed to be doing better. This got me thinking, how can the same country be seen as both happy and unhappy at the same time? How can two different ways of measuring happiness produce results that contradict each other so drastically? And maybe more importantly, which one is right? But before we go deeper into the video, let me ask something, especially if you're Indonesian.
Baik.
Would you consider yourself happy? I mean, not in the way surveys measure it, of course, not in terms of current GDP or political stability as well, but in your own personal life, on a day-to-day basis. Do you feel content with your life? Or is there something that makes you second guess if things are as good as they should be? because by macroeconomic and political standards, Indonesia isn't supposed to be one of the happiest countries in the world, and yet, depending on how we measure happiness, it somehow is.
Benar.
So, which version is real? If life were measured by numbers alone, Indonesia's economy would tell a simple story. With a GDP per capita of just under $5,000, ranking 118th in the world, the difference is staggering compared to the United States at over $80,000, or Singapore at $82,000. Logically, this should mean a lower quality of life, fewer opportunities, and, by extension, much less happiness. But when you walk through the streets of Jakarta, the beaches of Bali, or the small villages of Yogyakarta, the reality is different. People laugh easily, they joke with strangers, they sit together on sidewalks, sharing food, stories, and time, without any rush to be
Sama-sama.
somewhere else. Happiness, it seems, isn't dictated by economic power alone. The 2024 World Happiness Report ranks Indonesia 80th out of 137 countries. Not at the top, but still higher than many wealthier nations.
Yeah.
Germany, for example, has seen a decline in happiness despite its high GDP, falling to
Wow.
24th place. Meanwhile, Turkey, with a GDP per capita of $13,000, ranks far lower than Indonesia at 106th. These numbers challenge the assumption that wealth automatically leads to well-being. I think one reason for this is a strong sense of collectivism that Indonesians have. A 2023 study by Meta and Gallup found that most young people in Indonesia feel they receive the support they need from family and friends. This research also aligns with Geert Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions, which ranks Indonesia as a highly collectivist society, where success and hardship are seen as shared experiences rather than individual struggles. They have a deep-rooted culture where people don't struggle alone, where a neighbor's problem becomes the community's concern, and where financial hardship is softened by a deep-rooted belief that life is meant to be shared. There's a Quora post from someone I assume is Indonesian, who said that there's an old belief that if my neighbor became a thief because he is hungry and I do not help him, I am also guilty for his thievery. This post alone can pretty much sums up the collectivism value in Indonesian society. Religion also plays a big role in Indonesia. About 87% of the population is Muslim, while the rest follow Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, or Christianity, both Protestant and Catholic. But here, faith is more than just personal belief. It shapes traditions, guides daily life, and strengthens the sense of community. When you're in Indonesia, you can see it everywhere. Mosques call people to prayer 5 times a day. Churches hold Sunday services where entire families gather. Hindu rituals in Bali fill the streets with offerings and ceremonies. Buddhist and Confucian temples stand as places of reflection and guidance. No matter the religion, there's a shared belief that life is meant to be lived with kindness, gratitude, and responsibility toward others. That's why gotong royong, or the Indonesian
Gotong
version of
royong.
mutual cooperation, isn't just a cultural value, it's a way of life. Helping someone in need isn't seen as charity, it's just what you do. If a neighbor struggles, you step in. If a friend is in trouble, you don't wait for them to ask.
Benar.
It's the same mindset as that Quora post I mentioned earlier. But life in Indonesia isn't easy for everyone. In fact, around 10% of the population still lives below the poverty line, and underemployment is a massive challenge. Financial struggles are real in this part of the world, but if money was everything, shouldn't the richest countries be the happiest? Yet, study after study shows the opposite, and that's where community makes all the difference. In Indonesia, personal success is rarely an individual achievement, it's a shared effort. A child getting into university isn't just their parents' pride, it's a moment for the whole neighborhood to celebrate. A wedding isn't a private affair, it's an open-door event where even distant acquaintances are welcome. When someone is struggling, no matter financially or emotionally, there's an unspoken understanding that help will come.
Yeah.
This is gotong royong in action, the idea that no one carries burdens alone. Meanwhile, in Western cultures, independence is often seen as a marker of success.
Yeah.
Moving out early or handling problems alone is a proof for self-sufficiency. In Indonesia, strength isn't measured by how much you can do on your own. It's measured by the people who will show up for you when you need them.
I am in Lombok, Indonesia. Assalamu alaikum. I've never been in
Waalaikumsalam.
Indonesia before, so this is my honest first impression of
Okay.
Indonesia. I've been told the people are going to be so cool, everyone's going to be so nice, and yes, that was 100% accurate. All of the first impressions I've had with people, so genuinely kind.
Sangat
Next
baik.
thing was mosques. I'm in Lombok, which is known as the island of 1,000 mosques, I believe,
Okay.
and that is also very true. I remember when I was driving from the airport to where I'm staying, peep the crib, there were mosques everywhere, and then this morning
Ada
when
di
Fajr
mana-mana.
went off, I could hear the adhan 360, right? I was standing out front of our house and I could hear the adhan every single where. It was going off for like 20 minutes from so many different mosques. SubhanAllah, it was so beautiful. Now, one thing I really, really like about Indonesia is the scenery, okay? I'm a nature person. I love green. I love rain. I love outdoors. And when I'm here, it gives a very tropical-esque vibe, and I'm very excited to explore more. I will keep you guys posted. Make sure you're following so you can see my entire journey
Okay.
of exploring Indonesia.
I was
Siap.
completely wrong, really completely
Benar-benar
wrong.
salah.
Because I thought that Indonesia was so. And I'm waiting for your discussion with it.
Masa orang Cina mengira bahwa Indonesia adalah India, guys?
Hah?
Indonesia.
Hah? Bukan.
不是印度，是印度尼西亚，那个
Yeah.
印尼，东南亚。
Bingung guys. Bingung.
印度
India?
印度尼西亚
Bukan.
独立的地儿啊。
India dan Indonesia bukan tempat yang
印度和
sama.
印度尼西亚不是一个眼儿。印尼的国家好吗？还好吧，
还好，
挺美的，
挺美呀。
巴厘岛呀，湖山。
Aku lihat.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
Aku dari Afrika
Wih.
Selatan, tapi tanggal
Bisa berbahasa Indonesia guys ya. Kita ulang sebentar ya. Kita ulang.
aku lihat.
Where are you from?
Aku dari Afrika Selatan, tapi tanggal
Iya.
di Jakarta.
Wah.
Iya.
Bisa bahasa ya?
Ya, aku
sekali.
belajar.
Kok bisa sekali ya orang Afrika tapi kulitnya bule ini putih-putih ya. Ya, putih-putih.
Sedikit. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Wah,
Halo.
lagi bikin konten. Iya.
Orang
Mantap.
Korea kaget. Indonesia bukan India.
Ya, bukan.
인도네시아, 인도랑 좀 달라요.
Nggak tahu lagi.
아예 다른 곳 아니에요?
음식적으로도 차이가 있어요?
아예 다른 곳이에요. 그렇죠. 인도네시아라는 뜻이 인도양에 있는 섬나라라는 뜻이에요. 시아가.
We'll be right back.
Indonesia nggak aman buat sepeda. Dengerin nih, bule yang sudah goes 20.000 km Belgia ke Jakarta.
20.000 kilometer.
Quite worried about my security on the road. Also, they were telling me that the jungle part
Jakarta
was really
berbahaya.
dangerous.
And the fact?
Yeah, in
Apa
the end,
faktanya?
I still kept going. So I just went to Bengkulu, then Bengkulu,
No.
Bui, then Bui. I went all the way to Kampung. I feel good in Indonesia. And on the road, everyone is so helpful. I'm invited in their home. They offer me food. It's just an amazing country to cycle.
Wow,
now
negara
I'm gonna
terbaik
cross
yang untuk
Java,
bersepeda.
then to Bali, and then Lombok, and sail into Australia.
Kalau kalian ketemu bule ini di jalan, jangan lupa sapa dia.
Oh.
Budaya aneh di Indonesia.
Pertanyaan kedua, budaya apa yang paling aneh yang Mister temuin di Indonesia?
Nah,
Saya suka orang Indonesia semua tersenyum
Wow.
dan hati mereka yang bersih.
Hati mereka
Orang
bersih.
Indonesia saya pikir terbaik dalam hidupnya. Saya sudah jalan 76 negara
Wow.
jalan-jalan dan saya lihat banyak orang lain, tapi orang Indonesia yang terbaik.
76 negara bule ini menyatakan sudah keliling banyak negara, 76 guys. Tapi satu-satunya Indonesia yang buatkan bule ini merasa betah, merasa tenang dan melihat suasana yang begitu menarik sekali ketika berada di Indonesia. Sudah pastilah ya guys ya. Negara kedua bahagia di dunia, Indonesia guys.
100%.
100% dia bagi. Digodain waria, digodain tentara is.
Saat ini gue berada di Yerusalem bersama
My name is Yael. Killing.
Do you know?
What's your name?
My name is Ricky. Do you know Indonesia?
What?
Do you know Indonesia?
Oh, yeah.
How do you know about Indonesia?
From TikTok and from like pictures and stuff. Yes. Views.
What do you think about Indonesian people?
I dream to visit here.
Wah, mimpi untuk liburan ke Indonesia.
After the army, I will be free.
I hope you can go someday to Indonesia.
I hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, di follow TikTok sama dia. I will follow too.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm in Bali right now and I just saw this.
Woi, boleh ini heran ketika melihat struktur sementara bangunan di Bali pakai bambu.
This here, do they normally use bamboo sticks to hold up the concrete when it's drying? I think that's genius. Please someone let me know in the comments below. That video right there was actually of me in Bali and it got picked up by the news, the local news there. It's freaking awesome. Thank you guys for the support. I'm gonna make the news again one day.
如果你不会印尼语，那你在印尼将会闹出很多笑话。我现在呢就成为了一个笑话。前2天我去理发的时候，理发师很热情，然后我就跟他描述，咔咔咔咔咔咔，滴答，慢慢哈咪。理发师当即表示 OK， 然后呢我就摘掉眼镜，我们就开始剪头发。等我再戴上眼镜的时候，就成这样子了。我当时就特别难受，特别想哭，因为我的头发从来没有剪短过。然后呢，理发师一脸期待的看着我，希望我可以夸奖一下他。我只能说bagus bagus，但是我内心呢是tidak bagus tidak bagus。
Selama ini Indonesia sering dilihat dari luar hanya lewat angka, berita atau stereotip, padahal realita di lapangan menunjukkan hal lain. Banyak orang asing justru terkejut karena kehidupan masyarakat Indonesia terasa lebih santai, tidak tergesa-gesa dan minim ketegangan sosial dalam interaksi sehari-hari. Hal-hal sederhana seperti senyum, sapaan ringan, dan sikap saling menghormati menjadi pengalaman pertama yang langsung mereka rasakan. Reaksi mereka berubah saat mulai berinteraksi langsung dengan warga lokal guys ya, di pasar, di transportasi umum, atau sekadar bertanya arah di jalan. Respon yang diterima cenderung ramah dan membantu tanpa pamrih, tanpa diduga ya, tanpa curiga berlebihan. Bagi mereka yang berasal dari negara dengan kehidupan serba cepat dan penuh tekanan, suasana seperti ini terasa menenangkan dan bahkan ya menyentuh secara emosional. Yang membuat dunia salah hitung bukan karena Indonesia sempurna, tapi karena nilai manusianya masih dijaga. Kehidupan sosial yang mengutamakan kebersamaan, empati, dan toleransi membuat banyak orang merasa diterima, bukan dihakimi. Dan di tengah dunia yang makin bising dan kompetitif, ketenangan seperti ini justru menjadi sesuatu yang langka dan berharga. Secara rangkumannya, Indonesia mungkin tidak selalu tampil mencolok di mata dunia. Namun, bagi mereka yang benar-benar datang dan melihat dengan mata sendiri, negara ini meninggalkan kesan yang dalam. Bukan karena apa yang dimiliki, tapi karena bagaimana manusianya hidup dan memperlakukan satu sama lain. Jika cerita seperti ini relevan dan terasa dekat, nah silakan tinggalkan pandangan di kolom komentar ya. InsyaAllah kita akan bisa ketemu lagi di video yang akan datang. Sampai jumpa lagi. I love you Indonesia, I love you Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.